Hey everyone, and welcome to the Zest 2.5 channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, it's nice that you're here again and you're enjoying the content. So I'm sure some people might not agree with me on this, but I'm still going to say it. Disney's Wish lets its villain down, and you're going to understand why I say so. Firstly, I'm going to x-ray what the movie did wrong, and then I'll shed light on how Disney did learn from its past mistakes when it came to the villain archetype. Firstly, I want to get this out of the way. Disney's Wish does not have a bad animation style, and I really don't get why people are criticizing the animation style. Really, the animation is not the problem. The problem is the characters and also how these characters interact. This is actually dubbed character relationship. Now, from a character perspective, there are three things you want to see with any good animated movie. The first is obstacles, be it challenges or conflicts, not just the antagonist. The second is motivations. Motivations are basically what spurs the character on, the reason for the character's behavior or action, and the last being the goal. You see how Encanto uses the first two perfectly well to achieve its goal. Each and every character in Encanto, from Maribel to the so-called antagonist being Abuela, each have to overcome obstacles, from their emotions to their flaws, with every one of them still having motivations that push them as characters so as to reach their goal. This concept does not just create a relationship between the audience and the characters on screen, but without the perfect blend of the right motivation and the perfect obstacle, there won't be that well-needed satisfaction that we get as an audience when the character reaches their goal. If this is not done correctly, everything feels really bland and inconsequential. An example of a good balance between these three factors is also seen with Puss in Boots, where you have Puss and Soft Paws overcome not just the antagonist but their own obstacles so as to push them on to their goal. Before we go on, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Liking the video does help push the video, and subscribing does let you into this wonderful community that we're building. So yeah, thank you very much if you choose to do so. Let's get back into it. You see, one of Disney's Wish biggest flaw is that it had no character obstacle. Each character were just as plain as cardboard, from Asha to her friends. It felt like the movie was off a side plot of Sophia the First, where you just have characters pop out of nowhere, and we all know that we're not going to learn anything about these characters because they are just there to fulfill a purpose in that episode. Asha is a stereotypical Disney I want everything my way princess. It's actually not bad, but without a flaw, you then put too much dependence on the motivation to carry the character. And let's not forget, Asha is the main character. In my opinion, Wish had no motivation. The motivation was non-existent. There is nothing that motivates the sequence of events in this movie, at least nothing that I see as valuable. Asha's main motivation is to save everyone's wishes, which started with her saving her grandpa's wishes. My main issue is, what do these wishes actually represent? Does losing these wishes have any impact on the characters? And thus having them change the story drastically? The truth is, it doesn't. The motivation does not really hold that much to it. This is not a movie that depends on character development or character growth as its main goal, like maybe Puss in Boots, where you have the characters learning something new about themselves that becomes the final goal. No, this is not the case. The final goal in Wish is actually achieving something tangible, and in my opinion, the wishes really doesn't hold up as a goal. Literally, there's nothing too special about the wishes. The wishes just represent the deepest desires of each character. To me, this is a very weak goal. And I remember watching the movie and being like, is this what we're actually fighting for? The screenwriters didn't really put that much effort in putting value to the goal, and it really tells on the story. There is no difference if you replace the wishes with eating bananas. Nothing actually changes at the end of the day. If a character gains his or her wish at the end of the day, the wish is not going to come true, but the character just remembers their wish. This is in no way, in my opinion, monumental. There is no drastic change to the story when that goal is being reached. So basing off a movie on such a weak goal and a weak motivation really leaves an empty feeling to the movie. This is why there is literally no character relationship. By leaving these things to be desired, every sort of dialogue that Asha and her friends do have on screen does not have any gravity to it because it doesn't feel like there's anything on the line. The dialogue has no value. Now, where I do feel like the movie did okay or decently in is with the antagonist. Magnifico is a perfect villain. He is the best Disney has come up with in a while, and he does pay homage to the good old Disney Renaissance villains. To be honest, I don't really want my antagonist to be overly relatable, mostly in a Disney movie. I just need him to be evil, and that's what Magnifico delivers throughout a good portion of the movie. People might look at him as a twist villain, but I feel he wasn't written to be one. His characterization, even when he still behaves like he is a good guy, is pretty much narcissistic, cunning, and self-centered. All these are classics you want to see in a Disney villain, not abuelas who have family issues or, overly confident dads. These are not what I want to see in a Disney villain. Magnifico also is a fun character. Chris Pine does do a wonderful job emoting the different emotional tones Magnifico goes throughout the movie, with the first quarter of his arc where he tries to put on a good face, and then in the middle quarter where you do see cracks, and in the final quarter where he accepts being evil. Another thing that I do love about this character is that there are hints of character complexity with him. He's not a straightforward villain. Yes, he does have the traits of being a villain from the get-go, but in the middle quarter of his arc, he does struggle with giving into forbidden magic, which I feel is where Magnifico strays away from, your normal classic Disney villains who don't have contradictions, with characters like Maleficent, Jafar, etc. not showing any sort of fight with their motivations and their goals. But with Magnifico, we do see that he does love his people and his wife, and his motivations are from a good place, at least at first. In fact, his motivations to keep his people's wishes safe actually comes from a place of genuine care for his people. He doesn't feel like what he's doing is wrong, but genuinely believes that such a thing is the perfect solution to people having their hearts broken from unfulfilled wishes. This builds contradiction with the character, which I do actually like, but what I would have loved to see is this being built on, and maybe adding a backstory that does show how over time he becomes more greedy and narcissistic, and somehow intertwine this with Asha's backstory so that there would be more to their relationship. We didn't actually get to see that protagonist-villain relationship in this movie, with him ultimately becoming overcome by greed and pride, and then he fully accepts being evil. For me, this character is pretty unique, and he stands out from all other characters in Wish. Magnifico is a brilliant creation in my opinion in a world that really does not deserve him, though he might be lacking in some departments, but in my opinion he does highlight how Disney actually did learn from their past mistakes when it comes to the villain archetype, and how they built a perfect villain but did not give him the right tools or the right world to work with. Okay, that's the end of the video. I actually kind of liked the movie. When I saw the trailer, I actually thought the movie would be better than this, but unfortunately it did not live up to that. But it's an okay movie. It's not that bad, to be honest. If you haven't liked the video, please do like the video. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And God loves you, and I love you too.